Well, it happened. No Way Home was simply amazing. Better than Endgame? Well, I think it rivaled it, at least. So, let's get started. The film starts off at the end of Far From Home. Peter was just outed as Spider-Man by Mysterio, and he flees a mob of citizens with MJ. Then he gets taken in by the Defense of Damage Control and has to go to court, to which Matt Murdock is his lawyer. And it's a pretty cool cameo from Charlie Cox. Anyway, so Matt saves Peter from going to jail, but people are still torn between believing him or Mysterio. So then he goes to Doctor Strange to see if he can make a spell to get everyone forget that he's Spider-Man. Wong pretty much warns him not to do this spell because it's extremely dangerous and something can go horribly wrong. But guess what? Strange does it anyway. So during the process, Peter gets caught up and asks if MJ and Ned, among some others, can be exempt from the spell, causing Strange to lose his concentration and botch the hell out of it. Sometime later, after Peter, MJ, and Ned get rejected by MIT due to Spider-Man's accusations, Peter seeks out the head of the college to plead their case on a bridge, and then he gets attacked by Dr. Octopus. After a brief battle, Doc Ock realizes that this Peter isn't Toby and absorbs part of Peter's nanotech onto his tentacles. It's pretty funny because then it gives Peter full control over Doc Ock's arms. All of a sudden, Green Goblin appears out of nowhere, but before he can attack, Peter gets transported to the basement of the Sanctum, where he finds Doctor Strange and the Lizard, who has been imprisoned. Strange explains that since the spell was botched, they've been getting visitors from other universes, meaning that instead of everyone forgetting Peter's Spider-Man, the spell drew in literally everyone who knows Peter is Spider-Man. After that, Strange gives Peter a device that teleports people back to the Sanctum prison and sends him out to find any other visitors. With the help of Ned and MJ, Peter sets out to find the Green Goblin, but comes across Electro and Sandman instead and has a brief fight, where Sandman actually helps Peter defeat Electro. Peter then explains to the two of them the situation and sends them both back to the Sanctum to be locked up. After this, Norman Osborn, who's now back to normal, somewhat, shows up at Aunt May's job looking for help. So Peter takes Norman to the Sanctum to see the other villains locked up. Once there, Strange explains that they all need to go back to their respective worlds, and he unveils a box that's housing the original botched spell that can be used to send everyone back. But then collectively, the villains all realize that they all die fighting Spider-Man and don't want to go back. Feeling sympathetic, Peter steals the box and gets chased around New York by Doctor Strange. Eventually, Peter traps Strange in the mirror dimension and frees the villains, taking them to Happy Hogan's apartment as a safe house. Once there, he uses Stark's technology to fix the damaged inhibitor chip on the back of Doc Ock's neck, letting him regain control of the tentacles. Peter intends on helping all of them and just wants to send them all home, but then, out of nowhere, Norman turns back into the Goblin and fucks everything up. He fights Peter and destroys the apartment, killing Aunt May in the process. And then, the villains all turn on Peter, aside from Doc Ock. There's a brief period here where Peter's sulking on a rooftop, feeling completely defeated. Ned and MJ use Doctor Strange's sling ring to find Peter, but accidentally bring in Toby and Andrew to this universe. So then, the Peters decide to team up against the, I can't really call them Sinister Six, but how about the Fearsome Four? And with Peter not wanting to kill them, they create cures for each villain and plan on sending them back afterward. So now it's time for the final battle, which takes place in the Statue of Liberty, now being constructed to wield a Captain America shield. The trio use the box to lure them all there, and work together to cure the Lizard and Sandman. Electro's a bit tougher because now he has an arc reactor on his chest, but out of nowhere, Doc Ock shows up and rips it off, replacing it with a power draining device. And then, Toby and Doc Ock share a brief moment, right before the Goblin shows up and fucks things up for a second time. He sticks a pumpkin bomb inside the box, causing an explosion, which knocks MJ off the statue, and also releases the botch spell, causing a rift to open in the sky. Peter tries to jump after MJ, but gets caught by the Goblin. However, Andrew dives after her and saves the day, giving himself redemption for Gwen's death. And then, the shield comes crashing down, and Peter ends up fighting the Goblin on the remains of it. He nearly impales Goblin with his own glider, but is stopped by Toby, who then gets stabbed by the Goblin anyway. What an asshole. Finally, Peter injects Goblin with his own cure, and Doctor Strange attempts to fix the botched spell. Doctor Strange warns him that not only will people forget he's Spider-Man, but they'll just forget him altogether, and he still agrees to do it. So, Strange does the spell, and everyone goes back to their respective universes. In the final moments, Peter tells MJ that no matter what, he'll find her and make her remember him. And then, we fast forward to some time later with Peter at Aunt May's grave. Happy Hogan walks up to pay his respects, but doesn't have a clue who Peter Parker is. And then, Peter goes to the coffee shop MJ works at, and she also has no idea who he is. They have a brief conversation, and it kind of looks like she might remember him a little bit. And he asks her if she's going to enjoy MIT, and she says yeah. And also, Ned's there, but he has no idea what the fuck is going on. So then ultimately, Peter chooses not to tell her anything and just walks out. He settles down in a new apartment and fashions a new suit. Yep, the classic Spidey suit, and swings away. The end. Oh, wait a minute. Mid-credit scene is Eddie Brock in Mexico, learning about who the Avengers are from a bartender, before he suddenly gets sucked back to his universe, leaving a drop of symbiote on the bar. And then, after the credits, we get a teaser trailer for Multiverse of Madness. Alright guys, there was a lot, but damn it, it was amazing. Like I said, it was one of the most highly anticipated movies to date in the MCU, and they definitely delivered. The only thing I wish they would have done is actually have the Sinister Six in there. I mean, what was one more villain? Technically, Doc Ock was good, and he was only bad for like a second. I do like the fact that he had the classic suit at the end, and he's doing another trilogy. And with Brock leaving the symbiote behind, it shows that maybe in the next one, the college trilogy, Peter will get the black suit. And also, I'm willing to bet that at some point in the next one, Ned will become the Hobgoblin. Alright, guys. I'll see you on the next one.